This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You are talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and a big warm welcome to the Bar Steward's Enquiry Weekend Podcast. Yes, the flat is back. Good old Kelso letting the centre stage befall itself on Kempton and Chelmsford. And the Curragh, if it goes ahead, which might be a bit dodgy, looking at the old weather forecast. And joining me with this in mind is the flat crew. It's me, John, Nick Davis and Jack Veach. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Evening all.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, we're rip-roaring for this because it's actually, for once, on a Saturday. I'm amazed at the cards, actually. I think they are, the Kempton card in particular, particularly strong. And we're going to be tackling these at the end of the show, as always, in the preview section. And we'll look at the Kentucky Derby, Road to Kentucky. The Woodford Reserve there at 3:30. So there's quite a bit to go through. And without further ado, this is the round you like. This is the 1, 2, 3 points. This is the meat on the bones, especially the 3-point round. And hopefully we can do the business for you this weekend. So, who am I coming to for the 1-pointer? Jack.
Well, after you just said how good Saturday's racing is, Lee, I'm going to Sunday for my 1-point bet.
Oh!
We're at my local, which is Bath or Bath for our northern listeners. Yeah, we won't agree on that one, John, but...
You show me the ad in Bath and I'll agree with you.
Fair point. But yeah, look, I think good card at Bath on Sunday even, and fair play to them for putting on some good prize money, and the fields have been rewarded. And we're off to the 3:43, which is the pretty valuable 5 furlong handicap. And I'm with Glorious Angel here, Grant Chewer's filly. I think reason being, race fitness is on side. She's had 2 spins on the turf now. Ran an okay 6th in the Camage when making all of the running into a headwind, which was very difficult that day. But I thought she didn't fall out the back of the telly, which was to her credit. Followed that up with a decent 2nd at Ponty on Tuesday in the slop. She goes well in those conditions, and as far as I know, last time I heard it was 3.0 on the stick at Bath on at the moment. Yes, so we might be in doubt of it going ahead, but there isn't loads of rain, thankfully, over the next couple of days, and they've put on a big card there, and I'm sure they'll be keen to get it going. So it'll be survival of the fittest stuff. She's an out and out front runner, which typically suits around there, and I just think a few of these, Curdos, for example, classy sprinter, but carrying 10 stone around there on unfavourable ground, that's not going to be ideal. Silky Wilkie, equally, not sure conditions are going to suit him. So yeah, I thought I'd chance my arm with a pretty safe selection on Glorious Angel, and you've also got Joe Levy claiming 5, which he's not bad as claimers go. So you're effectively running off 79, which is a lovely weight, and yeah, I think she'll take a lot of beating. So 1-point win.
That's a rip-roaring race, is that? 11-2 for you, Jacko.
Yep, perfectly fine with me.
Just of interest, because we had a conversation there about Bath or Bath. What is your version, and I'll not accept anything but a bread cake. We call it a bread cake when we put our sandwiches, we call it a bread cake. What do you call it down there?
Be a roll, I'd say.
Oh. Nick, what do you call a bread cake down your way?
Bread cake?
Yeah, bread cake.
Like
Bread bun.
Yeah, like, ham roll or whatever.
Right, a roll. It'd just be a roll. Or
cheese roll? A cheese roll?
Cheese roll, mate. Cheese roll.
John.
I thought Bath is where I got most expensive cab, £51 for a 2-mile journey.
Oh, they've stuck it right up you. John.
What are you doing? Having a bank and that meter running outside?
No, it's just one of these venues, where these wedding venues, and
Where you
they
can't
pick you up.
take a
It's in the arsehole of nowhere.
Got you by the bollocks, haven't they?
Oh yes, one of those. £51.
Disgrace. John, what's it up your way?
Bread bun.
Bread bun. Does some parts of the country call them barm cakes?
Manchester
That's
area.
a Manc thing, yeah.
Another dreadful name. I don't mind roll, but no, it's bread cake, and that's that. That's debate settled. Right, my 1-point win goes in the 3:15 at Kempton tomorrow, and it's a horse that I've got a lot of time for because He was one that well, I think won us all quite a bit of money earlier in his progression last spring. Novel Legend, trained by James Bones Fanshawe, which is the one worry. But there's nothing not to like about this horse because he was very progressive last year. He went up the weights, but his form is top class if you look at it in context. He ran very well in the Royal Ascot handicap, went 7th of 19, didn't get beat far. Really did shape well there, the Ascot Stakes. And then went to Newbury, only ran into the Gosden thing. Was it Sweet William?
Yeah.
Sweet William. And Sweet William was off 88 that day. I mean, come on, man. Then went to Goodwood, got the job done, albeit in a bit of an all-out finish, but the ground would have been plenty quick enough for him that day. Then disappointed, but went to the Curragh, and to be honest, he had eight starts last year. 2 mile at the Curragh, and then long champ in a Group 1. They were obviously tilting at windmills in that Group 1 there. So nothing not to like here. Back in normal company, off a realistic mark, 98's rather good, I think. And I think he can take the Queen's Prize, 1 point win. John?
Hello. Fancy one at the Curragh, actually, in the hope that it's on, in the 435. Chick Flick. This one's a bit more useful than the farm figures, whatever you believe, really. Last time out, there was good headway from the back late on. Over a trip that half miles too short for her. The fact she was finishing off well on that sort of ground tells you the surface won't be a problem if it goes ahead. Neither will the increasing distance. I think she's got a very good chance in this because she's going to come here pretty fit, I think, and she's got a Curragh Classic entry, so that sort of negates the third run syndrome where you're thinking they're looking for a mark. If they were looking for a mark, they wouldn't have put her in the Curragh Classic. So I'm quite keen on it. She's a bigger price than I expected, so I'm going to go half a point each way.
Half a point each way, yeah. I think you've got 22 to 1 with Sky and Bet Victor at the moment. So
I think that's very sporting, actually. There's a few of these that are a bit iffy in this race for me. I think the O'Brien one, if memory serves, the mare was useless on soft.
Right.
And I think there's reasons to believe this should place at worst.
Yeah. What do you know about the trainer, Josh Halley? He's not had many runners. He's had winners. I think he's trained 3 winners, but he's not had many starts.
Another one of these crafty fuckers, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's
Who's really training them? That's the argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he's booked Shamey Heffernan. He's coming a long way from Tipperary. It's a long way. To Dublin. So there we go. John's first selection. Nice price for you all out there, but he's shamefully gone each way. Totally each way thief. Right. Nick Davis, finish the round, please.
Right, I'm going in the 3:15. The stayers. I don't know if Novel Legend will they want a penalty for, or do they want to go up in the weights for the Chester Cup? Because I imagine they'll go there again. I thought Spirit Mixer was a total float up last time. Sat last, made a little bit of headway. Mr. Murphy takes over. Very, very good. Very, very good world weather form. He was second to the greatest handicap performance all time in June 22, when only beaten half a length by Trushan. Really good season that season. Probably had some trouble soon. Reappeared in April, then is off for another year. And I thought that was a nice little float up behind Smartin Army. Sat dead last, made a little bit of headway, a bit of waving the stick around Hutchinson, and now he's back 36 days later, which is, suggests all well with a comeback with Mr. Murphy on. And I'm going 1 point win. What price is it? Can I have Fantasy Island prizes or what?
You can have, because, right, so it's second best price. If you are like 15 to 2 in places, but you can have 9 to 1 because Denise is 10s.
Oh, right. 9 to 1's fine, yeah.
Hills are 9s. So 1 point win for you on Spirit Mixer going against myself there. You could be right. It could be a little prep for Novel Legend. Who knows? This is the thing at this time of year. There might be bigger fish to fry for that horse down the line, but we shall see. Right, second round. Jack, come to you, mate.
Right, so back to Kempton in the 240, horse that we're very familiar with. I think at least myself, definitely Nick, Quentin, we've all put him up at some point. But we're going back in with a good old friend, Youthful King here. I think, look, last 2 runs at Leafy, he was drawn in the car park and I thought ran very well on both occasions. He's a horse who likes to be handy or in a lead if possible. He's had to be dropped in, ran really well on both occasions. So look, again, they've been stiffed again with box 10 here. But in all fairness, Kempton isn't as draw dependent as Leafy, gets the extra furlong and didn't seem to be loads of pace on here, particularly the lower draws. I think he'd be looking to get a lead with Captain Weersper, who's in 7, probably the Kilts horse in 14. So if he can get across and at least sit handy, I think he's got every chance on this occasion. He's got the good kid, Ethan Jones, claiming 7. He's off a very nice mark of 90 now, and I just think as a horse in cracking form, and he deserves one of these. Got reservations against top of the market, Old Harrovian. I think he's been, 11 to 4 now. I think that's very short. He's got a progressive looking, lightly raced profile, but I'd be keen to avoid him. First time tongue tie as well. And in Tinzo for Holly Doyle, he won, he won nicely last time out. I know we got the message that he wasn't fully tuned, but he's a keen goer and she just can't get a hold of these types. So I'd be keen to take him on every time I see him with her up, if I'm honest. So yeah, prices have taken a little bit of a hit, but I think we're still 9 to 1 if I'm lucky, and I'm perfectly happy with that. So yeah, Youthful King for me, 2 points on the nose.
Okay, 9 to 1 for Jack Youthful King. Yeah, that's pretty much generally available as we record. Nathan Jones on board. He's been gone too long, John.
He has
Oh,
indeed.
Who did better version? Did Bananarama beat the original version?
Bananarama beat every original version because of the delightful Karen Woodward.
There you go. There you have it. Nick, on to you for your 2-pointer, please.
I thought the last race at Kempton was very, very interesting. The 2 I really like are sadly drawn in the car park. Desert Cop, he's been nibbled at in the betting, but he's drawn 12. Some of his early season form when he beat Should Have Been a Ring at Newcastle and then second 2 lengths behind Shaquille at Newbury, they would lap on that. And Azure Angel was thinking, but they're 10 and 12. 6 furlongs at 10 and 12. And I'm sticking with the horse stats. Many people might have sort of think, oh, he's had enough of the season, but I thought last time out, Intervention run another cracker, and I think he's going to be in the ideal place tomorrow. A lot of reason why they thought everyone thought would be on the bell, since his 6 furlong short head, when he probably should have beaten just a spark at Wolverhampton. He's been over 5-7, 5-7-7, and he was back to 6 last time. He's still around the 90, 92 mark. I think he's 92 tomorrow. I think he'll sit second or third behind Trap 1 and Good Earth, and probably lead from Trap 1. And I think he'll get the end. He'll get the run of this race and reward his consistency for all this dirt season. Azure Angel couldn't put you off that. I was cursing last time. I was going to put this up and it drifted, and I thought no, the thing. And I do like Desert Cop, but I just don't like the draw in 12. So 2 points win Intervention, please.
2 points with Intervention, 8 to 1 for you, Nick. That's with Paddy's and Bet Victor. Yeah, it did run very well last time, much to my annoyance, as I backed it win only. A Good Friday, wasn't it? Where everything. We had a disaster, and everything we backed sort of didn't get the run of the race or finished second, and it was incredibly annoying.
Exalted Angel had an even worse run, but that never wins, does it?
Never wins. It never wins. It's like the Hammers. They build you up, Nick, and then they let you down.
Well, yeah. Once every 40 years we won something, isn't it? So
exactly. At least you did, though. At least you did.
Yeah.
You've gone and done it last year. Jonas, coming to you for your 2-pointer.
130 Kempton. Harry Did was a bit on the weak side last year, but he had the sort of frame you could say really filling out over the winter. He wouldn't have much making up to those to be the best of days, in all honesty. And if he's made the physical progress I expect him to have, I would expect him to be comfortably the best of these. His Newcastle Conqueror went on to win again, given the form of solid enough look. I think Lately Improvers look fairly thin on the ground. Grand Lad has reportedly come out the debut okay, but he was pretty straight for that. And I don't expect him to find a lot on it. Possibly Cody Lion will be a bit more savvy and straightwise. Harry Did all day for my
Yeah, Yeah,
2 points win.
Yeah, 2 points win, 4-1 generally available, John. It's been nibbled at already as a
Rule book.
I know he thinks I'm always hampering him to win another Naps title. My 2-pointer goes in the Snowdrop. Oh, fucking hell. So I've just seen the prices. Yeah, it's the old disappointment. You check the odds checker and it's, oh, God. Right, anyway, he's still just in the zone, so I'm not going to change my mind. It's choice here of Simon and Ed Crisford's. Which one trains them, I don't know. Is it Ed that trains them?
Neither of them, hopefully.
Yeah,
well, the one that changed Carla's way wants a rocket up his fucking ass.
Indeed. The one thing the Crisfords do well, though, apart from placing
Piss
them,
me off.
is, well, that's always a bonus. But have you sent an email to the Crisfords?
No, not yet. I'm working on it.
John loves an email to a trainer. Loves it. Absolutely loves it. Right, so to Simon Ed Crisford, you might get one. The 4-1 with Coral and Ladbrokes is worth taking still. Was 9-2. It's 3s now. I wouldn't take 3s. If you don't get 4-1, I wouldn't play, but this is obviously for the show. Choice here was very progressive last year. Beat a horse that was 2-1 favourite for this before not being declared, which was Novice. Nothing, very progressive, always on the up last year. I liked her. And what's more, she'll sit in quite a handy position around a track where you've got to be handy over the mile, particularly with wind form tomorrow. We've got very strong winds at Chelmsford, and it's going to blow them home in the straight, which basically means that if you too far out of your ground, you are winning nothing tomorrow. There,
I have to blow her a fucking long way from Chelmsford.
Yes, Kempton.
Right, yeah, my error, my bad. Do you know what I was thinking about there? I was thinking about the Kentucky race as well. I got that in my brain.
The Derby.
Yeah, the Derby race. But it doesn't matter. It's the same wind direction and they're still blowing them home at Kempton. It's actually the same scenario. I'll just sum it up now. If you're back in tomorrow at Kempton and Chelmsford, do not back drop-out horses because they won't make the ground up on the ones that are probably getting the cover, second or third, and a first to quitting in the straight because the wind ain't going to stop them. So you ain't going to make the ground up. So that's the prediction for tomorrow if you play. It played out like that on Good Friday as well at Chelmsford. You had to be in a lovely spot or you won nothing. So choose your progressive, nothing not to like, 4-1, 2 points win to finish the round. John, come back to you for your maximum.
Right. This will give you a giggle. 240 Kempton. When it's all eyes on young whatnot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not all eyes, because my eyes is on this. Captain Rosebery. He comes into this very much in form. He beat one horse in 2 runs last year. And the starting price, he suggested that Connection 30 was dead. Now, there's no possible reason for Valmont keeping this one going unless the gelding operation has revitalised him. Or they knew there was a problem last year and decided to just rake the season off. Both runs last year were big enough asks anyway. He had the Fielden at HQ as his starting point. Then he ran into Cicero's Gift before Charlie Hills put the ray gun on him at Woodford.
Much to my dissatisfaction, that one.
Yeah, this one's been campaigned at a mile. Now, he's from a good Helena Springfield family that ought to indicate he'll appreciate going up in trip. I think it's significant they've kept going with this, and I think this is a nice starting point on a nice forgiving surface that will prove a bit supportive, and any problems he's had, it's a nice comeback venue. He might have a float up, I don't know, but he was a good sort physically. I think he'll make up into a decent older horse, and I think at the price he's well worth a punt. 3 points win.
Can't knock that. 18s for you, John. Can't knock. I never knock like also that sort of price, especially from that yard. And like you say, at any point, at any opportunity, they could have just probably sold this when they wanted. They don't, like you said, they don't need to keep horses. They're just no good. So yeah, perfectly good case, well made for your bet. I'm hoping we get the winner of this bloody race, the Rosebery, because obviously Jack's gone for Youthful King. You've gone for Captain Versba. I'm going with the obvious here, which is Alderovian, but I want Betfair SP because the price has been, it's the typical obvious overnight brigade, and I'm being Captain Obvious here with this. But nevertheless, This has to be respected. Absolutely blew him twice. Looked an absolute machine, breaking clocks, doing all sorts. 93 seriously underestimates this horse. So much so that I can remember Quentin Franks last year when they declared him for the Aston Park at Newbury in a Group 3. Quentin Franks said, oh no, 93, what's he doing? He's blown the mark, what's he doing? And obviously he flopped in that, but he was very keen, didn't run his race. If he comes back to anything like, nothing else will see him off this mark. He's just going to win. We'll come to this later in Muddy, but Intinso did carry a bit of condition last time and obviously still well in, but he's stepping back in trip. We'll come to that in the second part of the show. But Alderovian for me all the way, I think he's just too well handicapped. He's a group horse, simple as that. So 93 group horse, yes please. Jack Veitch.
Right, I'm going to be taking Nick on in the 455, and for my sins, I'm going to have two darts at this one. I think it's a tricky race, but a competitive one at that. So I'll kick off with the 2 points of my 3, and I'm going to stick with my favourite claimer, Ethan Jones, at the minute, and go with Nebworth here. Reason being, I thought, look, he's been really good on 2 starts this season. His second at Wolves to Ferris, who he obviously reopposes here, meets him on £2 better terms, and he had George Rook that day, and he's now got Ethan Jones claiming 7. So, and I think he's good value for that. And George Rook isn't value for anything. So I think that's a positive. Only beaten just over a length there. Ferris is drawn out in the sticks in 10, which, as Nick pointed out, is not ideal. So I could see that form being overturned. Likewise with his Your Angel, again, really annoyed I didn't bat this on the last day, but drawn out in 10, as you pointed out with the Windley, going to do a job to get across, and typically one that likes to be played late. So Nebworth up with the pace, in really good form, ran really well at Donny, match fit for this, and I think we'll have a good chance of getting a decent sit from trap 2. So that's 2 of my 3, and yet agreed with Nick, despite him never winning anything, all 3 readers of my all-weather column point out my mention of Exalted Angel this week. And look, he hasn't won since the Catchy Stakes at Lingfield in February of 2021. But if he does go and win tomorrow and I've not had a shekel on, I'll be royally annoyed. Didn't take a genius to point out the very eye-catching 5th last time out when on Good Friday. Got a crap ride that day from Shane Gray. Not the only crap ride Shane Gray delivered that day, I have to say. So just clearly wasn't at the races. But this will win something at some point. He's still in good form. 89 has got to be a workable mark despite his lofty age of 8. And yeah, I can't go without having a point on him with Bob Marley in the saddles. So both drawn well, and think hopefully one of these will get the job done.
It's another split stakes wanker bet.
It is, yeah. Everyone's favourite.
So-
I get annoyed when everyone else does this, so I'm sorry. I've got to start the season with a bang. I can't.
John thinks you're a disgrace for doing this.
I know. He'll tell me privately later.
Yeah, 1
I'll
point.
tell you that there, it's depressing.
1 point win at 9-1 Exalted and Nebworth. You can have 9-2 with Denise and Hills. That's for Bob Marley on Exalted Angel and Nathan Jones. Who was Nathan Jones? He's on Nebworth. Who was Nathan Jones?
There's a football manager called Nathan Jones. I think he managed Stoke and
don't think
Luton.
Well, he wasn't when Bananarama sung around, was he?
Was he in exile a long time, this football manager?
Yeah, something about him lived in Spain or something, and he's a strange old character. I hope he's not related to Ethan, but I quite like this Ethan Jones kid. I think he could be the new Billy Loughnane of this year, potentially.
I've just googled. It says Welsh footballer and wrestler. There's a wrestler, Nathan Jones.
Oh,
right, it's just that a woman's longing for the original was the Supreme.
It was that big bastard in Troy. Brad Pitt killed him.
Right, interesting.
I think that's about it.
No, it says in Wilkie, it says the song centers around a woman's longing for a former lover, and it was originally by the Supremes. So I don't think one of the Supremes was going out with a Welsh manager, was she?
Wouldn't have thought so.
Oh, that big bugger out of Troy.
Yeah, Supremes and a Welsh football manager. The images we get, we've talked about bread cakes and all sorts. We haven't even gone to preview. Right. Nick Davis finishes off.
I'm going to go with Youthful King for all the reasons Jack said. I think it was given a lot of. Obviously, the last couple of runs, it's been drawn out of it from Goodwood. This will suit more. I don't think he'll necessarily lead because I think there'll be a lot of pace with the Gilt Semal, There'll be a few others, but He's just about in the 3-point zone around it. Was it 8 to 1, 9 to 1? I don't know.
You can have a point less than Jack.
Yeah, you can have 6.
No, I'm getting Jack 9s, I think, so you could have that.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 points at 9. There's obviously, the only thing about our old Harrovian, I thought with that he'd been given some other entries, and that's why that's what put me off him a little. I thought if they thought he was immoral in this, they would have given him some other entries, a follow up or something.
Don't know. He's 51
Good
and a half
prize
bags.
money, isn't it? Yeah.
You've got to be targeting your horses at this, surely.
Intinzo's going for the 1 mile 6, isn't he? Later, he is entered in that.
That's why I'll come on to this in more detail, but I think stepping back in trip for Intinzo is a negative. I think if you're entering for 1-6, this is not even 1 mile 3. It's 3 yards short of 1 mile 3.
It's like Desert Cop. Desert Cop's in the last. He's entered for the Duke of York.
What I don't like about Intinzo is the step back and the fact that it's a short run to bend and stuff like that. If you're thinking 1 mile 6, then surely, in regards to Intinzo, is this the right race? You've gotten back a furlong from your last run? I don't know. I know he's done well physically. I did like him physically at Wolverhampton. I thought he'd done really well from 3 to 4. But
I don't think him pulling will be a problem either with Holly, because I think there's enough pace in there for him to be settled.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. But I just think I don't think he's got in. He might have, but I don't think he's got in hand what Old Harrovian has. That's got absolutely bucket off 93. The clock back
So
start.
it's a tri-cast we're doing, is it then?
Look, it's nice to have different opinions because I mean this is what the punters like to listen to, because especially if they like one, they like it being reaffirmed by us. I know that because I get messages and people say, "Oh, thanks for steering me on that one because I like that and it made me have more on." When we get it right, anyway, not when they lose. There you go. That's it. When we lose, we're idiots. I think that sums up the rounds up nicely. Come on now to the sort of TV preview action. Obviously, it's all changed. I'm not going to bother looking at the Curragh. I'm not. It's that alleged date. I can't be asked.
I think by all accounts,
it's a million to be on, isn't it?
Yeah, John's tactically picked one there to save a point. I'd say.
Yeah, John's thinking, look, it's fucking shit, and I'm just
claiming a moral winner if that it doesn't go ahead. Fucking moral winner at 20 to 1.
Right, we've 5 at Kempton, and before we come to Kempton, we'll do the one at Chelmsford. Take a good look at this race, which is, of course, the Kentucky Derby, Road to Kentucky. So whether any of these lend up out there, I don't know. But anyway, here we go. Capulet is 11 to 10 fav. Cuban Tiger, surprisingly for me, chaps, appearing after 8 days off in what I thought was a tough battle last week. I didn't expect to see that 8 days later. This seems a strange manoeuvre. So, who wants to start us off with opinion on the race? John, I'll come to you just for your opinion, please.
Right. Capulet's the obvious one, fair enough, But he's not been missed in the market. Now, I think they're making on second fav. I wasn't entirely enamoured with this one's state of mind. We like talking about horses' minds on the flat, don't we? It's nice and fashionable.
Beautiful mind.
Wasn't happy with his mind, so I stuck a hood on him like every fucker else does and all this sort of thing. I'm not sure the cheek pieces are what's required, and if I had to have a bet in this race, I would rock along with the Inform Hughes team and Bracken's Laugh. I mean, he's obviously gagging to get his better ones out because he's in such good nick, isn't he? I thought this did very well on debut, and then kind of typical Hughes style, sort of a little bit of a letdown the second time, but possible excuses. I think this is a reasonable value alternative each way with the dead 8.
Are you thieving then?
Yeah, I would.
Thieving on Richard Hughes with Bracken's Laugh. Very impressive on debut.
In fact, I think the 2 conditions races, the ones where you got Hughes as second fav, there's a Godolphin odds on at Kempton later on as well. I think a spot in each way double across the card, the Hughes alternatives, is quite a nice bet.
The debut is impressive because the fact to run to that level, the third horse, I think, was sort of like going into that off a big rating and Blue Lemon. And King's Gambit was certainly one that everyone sort of fancied. That had just beat City Burglar the time before, and everyone liked that. So yeah, you can see it's probably run to 90 plus on debut. Bracken's Laugh. So to do that means you're smart, but it's going to have to be. What are we thinking about Capulet, chaps? I mean, John, you thought the Newmarket course did not suit Capulet at all. I can remember.
No, this would be much better. It's completely pancake flat, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, I know they always do it. The fact that they've put it in the Dante as well suggests it must be training well, because why would you bother with? I don't know. I mean,
he's a funny fucker how he treats a Dante, though, isn't he? You know?
yeah, you could.
It wouldn't be his number one trial.
No, he usually sends a fat woolly one, doesn't he? Sometimes.
Well, I tend to think he generally sends one that wants further.
Mm.
You know? And, I mean, we're a long way off him deciding what he's going to send, aren't we, really? He maybe fancies this as a lively outsider for the Kentucky Derby of dirt toss.
Well, justify. It's there. Yeah.
I just couldn't be back in an Aidan O'Brien horse this time of year.
Where else would you go with it?
Yeah. I just couldn't be back in. I mean, its record in before May is hardly good over here, is it? And the ones he said for the trials, you just scratch your head and think,
I think it varies. I think he's random. Some turn up fit, some turn up not fit. That's the consensus I get from the Irishman who I speak to, that some are there to do it first time, and others just, it leaves them well short. We're not running about to take the 11 to 10 on Capulet. We're not backing Cuban Tiger, because surely you've got to agree with me, that's a worry in 8 days.
Yeah, so readers of the Carl Burke Stable Tour that I saw the other day on the post, he basically said there was nothing. He wants good ground, essentially. Clearly can't see that for a while. Horse came out of the last race okay, so they thought they'd take their chance, but it wouldn't enamour you with faith. And as John said, he was engaged in a bit of a scrap that day. Orney as well. I thought, he's a keen goer, and the pieces for me just seemed strange. Sort of smacks of not really sure what to do with this thing. So weird old race. Capulet, I mean, yeah, been priced correctly. Probably could win this on class. I think the one I'd give a mention to is the Jack Davison trained Berger Masco. This has been running pretty well through the winter at Dundalk. Obviously not cracking class, but put up a couple of decent times. Don't think they'd come over here for a laugh, as they say. So I thought that could be one that might run into a place at sort of 16s, 14s to 1, 14 to 1.
Right, over to Kempton then to do their 5 races. Jonas tipped Harry Did in the opener for reasons that he gave earlier in the show. A lovely all-weather pedigree and Exceed and Excel out of a Sepoy mare. Yeah, if John likes one physically, kind of take note. It's well drawn, nothing not to like. I thought the James Horton runner travelled supremely well on debut too well, a little bit too well. Got a big sort of cross nose band, as if to say that this one's a bit woohoo. Did look like winning, but obviously got fended off.
I'm not sure I like that jockey link up, actually.
Oh, yeah, Farah. Yeah, he's a bit...
Decade to ride his claim out, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not
Only
so
just
keen
done it.
also. I agree, John. Not claiming any... Put it this way, I don't rate him as good as Ailey Turner, so that tells you what I think. I agree with a lot of what John said, actually, going through a few on the race. So, yeah, look, Harry did am with John on that. Jack, any view here?
Yeah, wouldn't disagree with that. The one I'd just give a brief mention to was Carlton Palmer's Ulrich. I thought that debuted pretty well.
Yeah.
Weirdly broke pretty well, but was dropped right out by Wilkie, but kept on quite eye-catchingly. I think that'd be one to step forward from debut. But do you trust Carlton Palmer to bring one on? Not too sure. So, yeah, I'd be happy to roam with Johns on the whole.
Good stuff. Nick, please.
No.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
Very good.
Yeah, 205 Kempton is the Snowdrop. Choice has been very well backed at the moment. Obviously, one of my selections. So I'll not talk too much myself about this race. So I'd like to know where you all stand at the prices currently on the runners in this. Jack?
I think you're with the right one in Choisir or Choisy or whatever you want to call it. To be fair, Choisir. Yeah, that was very Bath, wasn't it? That one didn't see much pace on here, so I think that's a negative towards Adelaide, who I do like, but I think is one that needs a pretty well-run mile and is short enough now in the market. So I don't think you can go too wrong with Choisir, and to be honest, I think the 4s is pretty reasonable in all honesty.
Not there's much chance of the 4s lasting, is there?
No, I think we're going to see probably 11 to 4 come the morning.
Probably go off 5 to 2 or something. This, to be honest.
I think if
Yeah.
I had to play the race, I might play Chaucer, Julia Augusta reversed. Because if you look that form at Kempton,
Yeah.
Julia Augusta did get a right wide trip in that, didn't she? Even though she's meeting her on worse terms, she got a right wide trip, and Chaucer ducked her on the inside.
Yeah, she ran a blinder then.
So that's the way I play it at the prices. A little forecast. I don't know what to really make of the top two. I don't. It's not a very deep race, is it?
Not really, no. For the money on offer, because 55,000 for a listed is quite good. I mean, most French listed races are only worth about 40 added. 55,000 added for a listed. I'd have expected some serious filly to perhaps turn up to try and nick a nice pot, but the top rated choice here is it Mystic Pearl
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
rated 100, which it's sort of Ascot Fillies handicap sort of zone. There you go. It could do with a bit more quality this one, but still it's competitive and it's a good race.
Yeah.
It'll be a good race to watch. John?
Well, anybody wanting that sort of one shows there, there's more likely to see Hitler doing a stand-up routine in the synagogue. For me, Schweizer, if you can bar. For me, this is the nearest thing to a certainty you'll get all day.
All right.
Many tiers went into a final run at 3 years, rated 78. She won the weakest of weak listed races. The only reason her rating increased is because it was a listed race and didn't take any account of the fact it was shit. Another not to confirm the rating in handicaps is Adelaide. She was comprehensively beaten off 86 in handicaps before running 2 listed races last back end. Without those runs, she's a mid to high 80s filly. Julia Augusta probably has the beating of them two on the figures, but she's not first to turn the farm around with the Christmas filly who'll beat her a neck, giving her £6. So for me, Schweizer plus Julia Augusta to chase her home. And I think it's very straightforward. I would have put her up, but I'm not on speaking terms with the Christfords, as you know.
The one good thing with them two is they get them fit. They really do. Off an absence, I never would with theirs off an absence. They're always,
Unless it's the Guineas.
Then maybe that. So at 240 at the Rosebery, which if we don't get right between us, we should be in for a bit of stick, I think. We've talked about Alderovian, we've talked about Youthful King, obviously very eye-catching at Lingfield last time off an unfavourable pace. Good £7 lad on. I see the case for that. We talked about Intinzo, done well physically, but I'd be worried back in trip, I'll be honest. I think that's the one concern. What do you know about Chillingham?
Ooh.
I thought Trip might be a bit shy of what he wants. I think he's a proper stayer, isn't he? And 11 furlongs round here with a tailwind, as you mentioned, might just all happen a bit quick for him. For me,
It's going to be a fair pace on. I mean, the top. This is a run for Newmarket, isn't it? Obviously,
Yeah, the 14 furlong.
That's the one thing. I mean, Killybegs is going to go forward as well, isn't he? You never know with his stable. Valsad's been. This is better company. He's been running well. There's a few of them. What's Buick doing running for Williams there on this Jucty Kent? That was the only one I sort of couldn't really work out.
Pretty unexposed, but the problem, I mean, why would it turn it around with Intinzo? I mean,
yeah, I know, but why is Buick on it? I mean, that's very strange.
Yeah,
unless
it's
he
like
had nothing to do for half an hour.
When Ryan Moore said to Brian Ellison once when he was booked for Scargill in the Chesham for me that I owned, he said, "What the fuck have they put me on this for?" Well, he apologised later, but there we go. But that's Ryan Fier were miserable. I think he got beaten the earlier race. I think he was like miserable.
It was not against the house. He just didn't want to ride for Lee.
No,
yeah, he's a blade or something, is he? He didn't like the colour.
You didn't do a snowy to the press afterwards. You'll never ride for me again, would you?
Yeah.
Well, I thought he'd like the ride because he rode it at Pontefract, but I suppose it's chalk and cheese. Anyway, Will Buick there, like Nick says, what's he doing riding for Ian Williams? Might be a shame Heffernan, I don't know. Leaving O'Brien, who knows? Will Buick, will he be there? I don't know. Might be another jockey merry-go-round at some point. Going to the 3:15, it's the Queen's Prize. 4-1 Sweet Fantasy at the market. I've tipped Novel Legend. Nick's tipped Spirit Mixer. I'd be interested to know what you think of some of other runners, or you think to some of the selections. Jack, what do you think to this?
I think Novel Legend is a fair shout, but I'd get Nick's point around Chester Cup. They wouldn't want to wouldn't want to win this too well, as they say, would you? So that's got to be worth bearing in mind. I think for me, the interesting one is Aquam. I thought his second behind Max Vega over probably an inferior 12 was really eye-catching. Obviously followed that up next time out at Leafy pretty snugly last Friday. Oh, sorry, Friday before Easter Friday, whenever it was. Gone up 4 for that, but seems a horse in good form and thought, was a fair poke at sort of double figure odds. But yeah, look, happy to row in with both of your selections. I think they're very sound indeed.
Jack, 6th of May 2023, Doncaster.
Yeah.
Aquam second to matchless by 2 lengths. How did I get it beat with my wad on off 76? How?
That sums us all up at times, doesn't it? That one.
What is
It's a horrible game.
This is it's sorcery.
You make David Blaine look like Sooty, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got Highfield Princess beat off 58 at Chelmsford or something, Lee. If it makes you feel any better.
There's some good ones, isn't there?
What about Throne All? Was it a couple of weeks ago? Windsor, we backed it up on the all-weather at Southall, and then it comes up and slooshes up, and then was made odds on favourite, which is an awful horse anyway, and then it does get you somewhere.
That's equine wanker sums up Throne All. He turns up when he wants.
Chucks it.
John, thoughts in there?
I got a Jill King George winner beating up 79 at Sundown.
Did you?
Yeah, conduit.
Sorry, Jill Raiders Cup.
It is soul destroying, isn't it? Sometimes you think, how on earth? Incredible.
Yeah. One of them things, isn't it? Anyway, Queen's Prize, which shouldn't even be called the Queen's Prize now, should it? Or it should be the late Queen's Prize, unless Camilla's going to turn up and dish something out.
Yeah, you think they changed that?
Well, yeah, and as I say, unless she's going on the podium and going to give him a quick flash of it, I don't know, whatever.
Camilla's flange.
Yeah. Okay. I'm struggling to get the words out.
Had it all today, haven't we? What would you call that, John? A bread cake?
Muffin.
Yeah.
Shows you muffin. John.
Julia Kerr loves it round here. 2-time course and distance winner. There's also been second here over the course and distance. This one absolutely knocked my eye out last time at Newcastle, how well it looked. I thought it looked tremendous pre-race. And then basically sat out the back off not much pace and fucked everything up anyway. This year, there's 2 front runners and 3 pressers. So I think this will be run pretty tidy. I can see this going very, very close.
I just thought it was a bit wide, the same as it got a Lingfield. I thought it was a bit what is drawn wide.
Saffy will drop in, Nick. Saffy, he's unlike Egan. She'll just drop in and keep out the bother.
Yeah, but we don't want that tomorrow, do you, with that wind?
She'll wave through, don't worry. They're going to go like stink, these. I have every confidence in Saffy.
What do we make of Sweet Fantasy, by the way? None of us have talked about it. I just thought it's very short for a Catterick. Or I know it's won a couple of things, but usually you want form over longer over the jumps for a 2-mile trip on the flat. It's never done it before.
No, I'm with you. Catterick, fuck off.
It's probably not bred to. Though having said that, I'm just looking at the pedigree now. Half-sistered to a US 1.5 mile listed winner out of a mile listed winning sister to Ledger winner Brian Baru.
They've entered it for the Yorkshire Cup as well, haven't they?
I don't think stamina will be a problem. I mean, he's got the carrots, and James Owen. James Owen prepares Bowie's 2-year-old, things like that. Well, did do, and before he trained, and obviously the stables just.
There's a quote here from Genial Trainer.
Go on.
She was supposed to run at Mussey last week, but it was off. Thanks. We feel this will suit, although the step up in trip on the flat is a bit of an unknown. The way she goes over hurdles, it may help, and we're looking forward to running her for the first time on the flat for us, ? Right.
I'm not a particular fan of Aidan Keeley either.
No.
I'll be honest. When he's rode for like Roger, he usually gets put on the bad ones, and when he gets put on a good one at Rogers, he usually fucks up. I can stick Aidan Keeley where the sun don't shine at 4-1-5. 3:45, the finale then. Got a short 8 to finish the show. Conditions race over a mile. I cannot see this beaten of Charlie Appleby's Devoted Queen.
John fancies the second in, doesn't he, of the stable form, Le Bleu.
Le
Allez,
Bleu.
Le Bleu.
Francais.
Sacre bleu.
Do you fancy Le Bleu, John?
Purely on the basis that Devoted Queen is full of promise, but has to improve to hit 95. I mean,
Ran to 99 on the clock on debut.
I didn't think it was that great a race, to be honest. I mean, she was all right, you know, but I thought she had a lot of making up to do. She's one of them that could go either way. At the prices, I think Le Bleu is a sport in play each way, one place.
Oh, disgraceful speak again.
And he had a pop at me for split stake.
Yeah, it's it. Yeah, we've got split
Wow.
wankers.
Two rule books, that.
I think you got every reason to do that in this race because there's a hood going on Marcella, so they're going to try and settle her. George Ruckle just do the fucking obvious on the heels off. That can't kick him out the first two, I don't. In the conditions with the tailwind and the whatever.
I think at the price of 8 to 15, I'm rather backing the favourite.
What I'd do here, Lee, and I know Quentin he's a fan of this horse. No, it should win at 8 to 15, but 25's guineas. If it wins really well, you know what the bookies are like these days. That will probably go 10s or something, and then you sat on a nice enough ticket that you can roll with or lay off on the day, whatever you choose.
Yeah, I said in my column that 25s weren't out of place for a game, like on that performance.
I mean, Fav's come out, obviously opera singer. It's not a Shawari, who I liked, has come out. It doesn't look the strongest, does it? So
I don't think it's going to be massive in depth, no. And the reason why I disagree with John on the form of the race, the third horse, for example, So Logical, ran Shimazzle to a narrow margin, 3/4 length. A Beckett debutant that was punted into 2 to 1 Fav, very strongly fancied. The fourth horse in that was in the 4.5 lengths back in that maiden was second to the African Queen and has been given a mark of 80. So if that's the case, then if So Logical's got a base rating of 80, I know it's like crude maths, but Devoted Queen's pissed all over that by 5.25. Seriously, I mean, I think this is a good filly. The clock backs it up anyway, so the clock don't lie. The form's okay. I'm saying this filly's like high 90s at least, at the very least. I know, like you'll say, what Libler has got a rating of 95. Like I said, informed, stable. Take the points. Yeah, 8 to 15 for me. I'd be 4 to 11 in terms of price. That's how I'd price the race. And I'd knock back John with his filthy each way bet. I said, no, shutters are down. There we go. Shutters. Yeah, go and get your bacon butty on a bread cake next door. Yeah.
Go look at the rowboat version 2.0.
Yeah. That. So, look, I hope you've enjoyed the show. We're back on Sunday.
Not doing the Curragh.
Nah, fuck the Curragh. Me, John and Chris are back on Sunday to discuss topics this week. There's plenty of them. You don't want to miss this Sunday's show. It's going to be fun, I can promise you. So, that's all from me, John, Nick and Jack. Have a good weekend. Bye for now.